Hello and welcome, BitMonger family. Monger here. Hope you guys are all doing fantastic today. And in today's topic, I'm going to talk about why Southeast Asia isn't all rainbows and unicorns. Check it out. See the rainbow? See the unicorn? So, most YouTubers paint a very positive picture of Southeast Asia, and they don't really address some of the negative things that you guys might want to think about if you're moving over here. So the first one is if you're a younger man and you're coming over here and you're looking to work, well, then you better have some sort of specialty, like I did when I was younger. Like I was a diving instructor, so I could find easy employment as a boat captain, spoke Japanese. I could find work that way. If you don't have those type of special skill sets or some sort of paper that sets you apart from someone else, well, then it's not the place usually to come to try to find work and make money. You can teach, but it's not going to pay you that well at a Thai school. Generally speaking, that's gone to shit. I mean, I look back at what the salary was, for teachers today at normal Thai schools and what they were, 25, 30 years ago. They're roughly the same. In some cases, they've even gone down. And then when you factor in inflation, you're really fucked. So, don't plan on coming here to find a job unless you have some insider or know somebody that can help you, or you have some sort of special skill sets that set you aside from others. Another thing, if you're an older guy and you're coming over here, you need to be considering one thing that I think is really important, and that is, how are you going to spend your time? The sad fact is a lot of guys that come over here, like in most places, this isn't just, Thailand and Southeast Asia. Most guys, when they retire, they have difficulty knowing what to do with their time, and they, develop bad habits, and they might even go into depression. And it can be a real nasty downward spiral for a lot of guys when they come over here. They don't know how to occupy their time. They end up hanging around bars and fucking cheap hoes, drinking way too much, and hanging around, Philistines and fucking lowlifes that they usually wouldn't have. And that is something that you got to be very careful of. So I would recommend that you try to develop good habits, use your brain, read, study Thai language or Tagalog or whatever language that you're in that could help you. Exercise, try to swim. I like to swim. It's low impact. It's good cardio. Maybe take walks, maybe get a pet dog. I got a pet dog as well. It forces me to do some walking. And it's a nice break during the day. Great companion too, right? I mean, fuck, dogs rock. What else? Another thing, holiday mode. Guys come here, they're in holiday mode. They visited and they think it's going to be like they're on fucking holiday, and that's not sustainable, guys. It's just not sustainable for most people, and it's also not much of a reality either. I mean, for some, maybe it could be. Continually, they could just live in a hotel and, fuck cheap hoes and party every night. But that's a road to ruin as well, most likely. So you need to develop the mindset of meet cool people, not necessarily barflies and the mongers that are down there in the red light zones. Try to, meet a wider group of people that are kind of cool, and not necessarily, that's not their whole mission in life, is to try to catch up on banging, bagging chicks, since they didn't get enough when they were younger. And that does wear out over time, guys. Trust me. You're not going to just continue doing that. You're going to figure it out, and you're going to get bored of it. You're going to see it for what it is. And you're going to be like, okay, well, that's cake, and I'll get it sometimes, but otherwise I don't want to be completely focused on it. It's fucking shallow and lame. Another thing is, the ladies in this concern. If you're planning on, looking for a girlfriend or a wife here, well, and you're planning to travel or do these types of things or move around or whatever it is, and you're not willing to be, in one place where she's working and you're expecting her to stop working and to stay with you, well, you better factor in that extra expense. And that should be common sense. But some guys don't, are still in some don't get it, and aren't really willing to support the woman, even though they want her to be with them. And whatever. But that, this is just the reality that you're going to have to factor in if you want to have this woman staying with you, and she's from a modest background, and she can't work, or you're taking her away from her work, and that's something that you need to consider. And if you're an older guy and you're thinking that you're going to get a young woman that's young and attractive, well then there's no doubt about it in my mind, you're going to have to be paying for it. Old guys that are with young attractive women, and if they don't think they're paying for it, well then they're fucking clueless. So expect that to be par for the course on your finances. Another thing that you need to be considering is, and this is again about money management, and that is the food. What are you eating? If you can go Thai and eat mostly Thai food most of the time, then it's fantastic. I've acclimated, I've done that. But if you're looking at, eating a lot of Western food, that's going to cost you more. Even if you're making it yourself, it's still going to cost you quite a bit. So, you need to factor that in. If you're going out to restaurants and you're in Bangkok and you like to eat, ribs, I love to eat fucking barbecue, American barbecue, brisket and that type of stuff, well, then you're going to pay, man. It's not cheap, guys. You like to eat Mexican food sometimes? It's not cheap, guys. I mean, you pay for eating Western food at restaurants, good stuff in Bangkok. And it's not as cheap as it you would think. And that does add up over time. So you're going to, most likely, you are going to have to change your behavior in those terms in order to manage your finances. So that's another thing that, I still see it as a rainbow, because and a unicorn, because I love Thai food, and it doesn't bother me to eat all the different curries and yummy stuff that they dish out, along with making my own food and going out to eat sometimes with my wife. So I'm good with that, but you need to factor that in when it comes to this rainbow, unicorn, utopia that you might be thinking of Southeast Asia. Another issue that you need to be thinking about is exchange rates. Just last spring, when I was changing dollars into Thai baht, I would get 15% more Thai baht. That can have an impact on your monies as well. So keep that in mind, guys, with your long-term planning. Another thing that you're going to have to come to terms with, and you might not think about it much now, but you will the longer you stay here, and that is you are just a guest here. No matter what country you're in, you are most likely just a guest, and that's how they're going to see you. You're never going to be a local. It's extremely difficult to integrate into the local community, when they will never, you're always going to be viewed as an outsider. So that's something that you need to recognize. And you might think, I don't care about it now, but over time it does impact some people's mindset. Another thing that you are going to need to consider, and that is the heat. It is extremely humid here all throughout Southeast Asia. And if you've only been over here at different times for short vacations, maybe you didn't catch, the hottest periods or different times. But after a while, especially if you are living in Bangkok, due to the concrete jungle, heat wave that it can, captures all that heat, then it radiates it out. It's fucking hot as shit. Walking around in Bangkok with the high humidity, you end up with, a layer of sweat all around you, and it doesn't evaporate like in a place like the desert, like in Arizona or someplace where it just, is gone. It lingers. So you got to get used to being, if you're moving around, you need to, accept the fact that you're probably going to be a sweaty mess. And for some people, it's very difficult to get acclimated. I've never fully acclimated, and I'll give you a tip. Move slowly, okay? Walk slowly, and that will help you because I don't know about you guys, but when I start to sweat, the floodgates open. It's like I notice that I'm starting to sweat, then it just starts to sweat worse, and then the next thing I know, I'm just fucking dripping. So, move slowly, take breaks when you're walking. That might help, but it's something that isn't really pleasant. And it's just the fact of life of having to live in this part of the world, unless you're living in a few locations like Talat or Baguio, places like this where you have higher elevation and cooler temperatures. You can get away with it. There's a place up in the highlands in Malaysia that is also fairly good. But, do you want to live in those places? Maybe. But it's something that you need to be considering. And it is not a pleasant part of being in Southeast Asia. If it was about 10 degrees cooler, I'd be much happier. And always remember, the most dangerous people that you are likely to meet in Southeast Asia are other foreigners. So you need to be on high alert when you're dealing with other foreigners. It's sad, but it's a fact. And I would imagine most other expats that are in here would probably agree with me. Let me know in the comments, have you had problems with the locals or have you had problems with other foreigners? Okay, well, I think I'm going to end it here. If you guys have any more comments that you'd like to make or something that I forgot to mention, please list it in the comment section. I'd love to hear what you guys think. All right, hope you're all doing well, and monger on.